immigration is not enough, I don't think, not right now, to reverse the downturn of our real estate market.
Lies!
Toronto's condo market is in free fall. No one's talking about the biggest danger ahead. Developers, they're panicking. Investors, they're running out of exits. And the sales have just hit the lowest levels in almost 30 years. But here's what most people don't actually realize. This could just be the beginning. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why the market is collapsing, how it can impact you, and what you actually need to do next. So let's get into it. And of course, I'm back with a new fresh hat. The reality right now of the Toronto condos, we've dropped 64% in 2024. Yes, you heard that correctly. This is the lowest level since 1996. For decades, investors have actually fueled this market that we're in, buying up pre-construction units before they were even built. But now they're backing out in huge numbers, and that's creating a domino effect across the entire real estate market. If you've been following Toronto real estate at all, you already know that there's new condo projects that are having very, very difficult times actually selling out. And today, developers are really struggling to sell any of these units, and it's only getting worse. So why is this happening? We're going to talk about that in today's video. Investors are exiting the market, and we're going to talk about the 3 reasons why investors are actually leaving this market. The first one is, of course, the higher interest rates. If you're carrying a mortgage on an investment condo, it's become way more expensive, especially if you bought that condo in 2020 or 2021 when we had historically low rates. And if you're on a variable rate mortgage, I don't even want to get you started about how much different that mortgage actually looks today than it looked 3 years ago. Second reason is the falling rents. We actually are having a downturn in the cost to rent. So if you do own an investment property, and a lot of the condos in the GTA and the Toronto area are this, you're gonna have your tenants coming and knocking on your door when your rent is up for actually a lower rate. If you could believe it or not, that's the situation we're in. Rents have dropped 6.4% for a 1-bedroom, 7.2% for a 2-bedroom year over year. This is not good. If you're an investor, you've got higher rates, you've got lower rents. It's a recipe that means you don't really want to be dealing with this anymore. This means landlords, they're making less money, which leads me to the third reason why they're leaving the market. Negative cash flow. Many investors, they actually bought 2021, 2022. Of course, they're losing money every single month. It's forcing them to decide, do they want to sell? Do they believe in the long-term value of GTA and Toronto real estate market? And they see the inventory piling up month over month over month, and now it's just oversaturated. So if you're an investor, you're losing money on your property, you're probably wondering, should I sell now? Will things get better? These are questions that are leading to a lot of this inventory hitting the market because they're deciding it's not going to get better anytime soon. So let's talk pre-construction properties. Pre-construction condos in Toronto, they've dropped 15% in Q4 2024. And we're not just talking about a few buildings here. There is a record high in terms of the unsold units. And you can see that in the other videos that we've got on the channel here. And this is a huge red flag. If you're a developer, you go through the process of getting everything out there. You've got all your media, all your marketing, you have your sales center, and you're unable to sell these buildings. This is a huge, huge red flag. And what's even more concerning is many of the investors who bought at peak prices, they're now struggling to close on these units when the building is actually ready. So you might have bought something in 2021, you bought it for $700,000, we'll call it, for a 1+ den in Toronto or the GTA, and closing time has come. The builders are ready to move forward, get you in there on occupancy and make that condo your own officially. But maybe you're no longer able to afford a mortgage. So we're seeing that happen a lot. We're also seeing people take the risk of not going through with the transaction because the value that they've lost is less than what they could actually buy a condo for in today's market. So maybe they're saying, hey, I'm only gonna lose my deposit, which was 20% or maybe less, and I can actually buy a condo for significantly less than what that difference would be if I just walked away from it. This can put you in legal trouble, but we're seeing some buyers actually take that risk. Well, we're seeing cancellations. Of course, some developers are canceling the projects. We've talked about that, but they're canceling them because there's just not enough demand for them to be profitable. It all ties in to the investors. A lot of these shoebox condos are just they're not for many people. A single person or a couple, those are really the options for a lot of these condos. They're building them very small nowadays. They're not good for families. So your limited buyer pool plus the difficulties to even get into the real estate market are meaning that the condos are just not what people want in today's day and age, unfortunately, especially at these prices. Is it possible that there's just another problem lurking in the background here with all of these developers and all of these condos? Potentially, maybe something comes out in the future that gives us a little bit more guidance on what is going on. Why are condos so left in the dust right now in today's market? Now, the next thing we want to talk about is these condos being built. So the banking system is another issue that we have here. So condo developers, obviously, they're not just magically building a condo. That doesn't just happen. They rely on loans from these big Canadian banks. The problem with that being developers, they're going bankrupt a lot of the time right now. We're seeing in another video we posted here, 27 Ontario projects have gone bankrupt, which is just an insane amount. You can't sell enough units to cover your financing costs. That's what happens here. And if the trend continues, more developers are going to default on these loans. They're just going to cancel the projects, and the banks are just going to start tightening on these lending procedures. They're not going to do these massive loans out to these builders if they have canceled project after canceled project under their belt. So it's making it very harder for these buyers to qualify for mortgages, and it's making it harder for the builders as well when you're talking about these big banks. Now, the question I see quite a bit, and the conversations had on the back end, is immigration potentially the savior for our real estate market? We know we take in a lot of immigration here in Canada, in Ontario, and Toronto's population, it keeps growing. We've now hit 7.1 million people in the metro area. That's an insane number. But here's the thing. If immigration is really driving up demand, why are the condo prices falling? One major reason is that the federal government has announced 3,300 job cuts in immigration processing, which means slower approval and fewer people are going to be moving here as quick as they were before. Fewer newcomers arrive. It means the rental demand could keep softening potentially for the investors who own these condos, which will directly impact all of these investors. There's no way around it. And immigration is not enough, I don't think, not right now, to reverse the downturn of our real estate market, which brings us the biggest question, of course. What do you do if you are a buyer and if you're a seller right now? So I'm going to give you my opinion. Of course, my opinion is always with a grain of salt. You might not agree, but I'm going to give it to you anyways here. So if you're a buyer, do you wait for further price drops, or do you buy right now while the rates are still on the higher side of things? The answer depends, of course, on what your goals are. If you're an investor, you need to make sure you run your numbers correctly. I don't want to put you, or you shouldn't want to put yourself in a situation where you're in negative cash flow and it just makes no sense for you. If you're an end user, this could really be the best opportunity for you. I think with all the inventory that's out there and you're going to live in the property, I think you can justify making the move. As an investor, I would say hold off or find something else to invest in. Not only are you dealing with the issue on inventory on the condo side of things, what if you need to sell it in the future? But of course, you've got things to consider, like your maintenance fees, you have the rates, you have the potential of maybe renting it out to a tenant who you thought was great and is not so great at the end of the day. If you're a seller, the market has just completely shifted. I can't lie to you in that case. The old pricing strategies, they're just not going to work anymore. Even if you wanted to do this bidding war situation, the buyers have smartened up, the agents representing the buyers have smartened up, and there's just too much condo inventory to put the pressure on somebody to make a decision on your property in such a short period of time and also have no conditions in a bidding situation. It just doesn't make sense anymore. So you need to be really realistic on your pricing, use the right marketing strategy. Of course, we can help you with that marketing strategy to actually stand out. If you want to know some tips on how to sell your condo more quick for a little bit more cash, you can always watch this other video that we've created up in the top corner here. Navigating the market is very difficult. There's no question. You need somebody who can guide you through it, but if you wanted to go through it yourself, you need to make sure you utilize some of the tips that we've talked about here today. The condo market is suffering. If you're an investor, I'd love to hear in the comment section down below, would you like to get out of the market if you're currently in it? Would you invest currently with the current situation? And if you're a first-time home buyer, are you frothing at the mouth? Is this the opportunity for you to actually get something that you really want at a really affordable price? Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.